Hi, so this video is about whether one should even pursue UPSC or not anymore. So, hi, my name is Ania Iqbal Khan. I have given UPSC exams for 3 years from the last 2023, which was supposed to be the toughest paper of 25 years, to 2024, which was alright, and then 2025. Now that the results are out, and there is a lot of speculations going on about the results gonna be declared again, or maybe the answer keys or the questions are dropped, and the answer key should be released sooner by UPSC, as last time UPSC released the answer key by the next year. Basically, when I was about to give the exam for 2025, 2 or 3 days prior to that, I got the answer key for my previous exams. So it becomes a little bit disheartening to see that now, if you want to even know whether you had performed well and correctly, you need to wait for a year to get the answer keys. Getting the results in 10 days is not the problem, but not getting the accurate result, because now these are all speculations, right? That this question might have been dropped, or this question was ambiguous, or maybe this question's answer was this. So how many ever classes or how many ever YouTube videos that you see, you might find answer keys to be different from others. Okay, there are a few classes which will give you a little bit of on the same line the answers, but it's still like speculation, and it's still assumed to be correct and not from the UPSC brain. So now the question becomes, where exactly does UPSC get these questions from? How do they think of the answers? What makes them think that the answers are right? And then the main question now is this: whether you even need to pursue UPSC anymore or not, with all these scams happening around. So just let's just clarify one thing. For general category, you need to score more than 90 marks. There's no there is literally no kind of cutting, or there's no kind of reward, or there's no kind of there's nothing for a general category student. So if you're in general category, you're screwed. Sorry for my language, but you're screwed. You have to work twice as hard as everyone else who's going to be sitting for the exams. Now, that being said, SC, ST, OBC, PWS all have quotas, all have their quotas already registered with seats and everything, right? So what happens is that even though you've given the exam nicely, but now you are of general category, the race is of around, let's say, 4 to 5 lakh people in this. From 4 to 5 lakh people, if the seats are only 1,000, you can imagine how cutthroat the competition is gonna be. So even if you are getting 90%, but someone is getting 90 point, the 0.66 marks that you miss or give the wrong answer to. So a 0.66 marks can actually ruin your entire year, which has happened last year and this year. So UPSC is for someone who does not really have any kind of financial problems at home. Let me be very frank. If you all have a financial problem at home, you can't be just studying and giving exams and failing, and then again studying and giving exams. You can't be on job and do this, because the first year I was on job and I did this exam. It is quite difficult. Second year I was like part-time, and then the exams did not work. This year also I did without any job and then studies. So what happens is, usually because it's a repetitive kind of a topic for all the subjects, back just the current affairs is new, but others are all repetitive. So what you think is that you already know things, and because you have the basics in your head, and because you have the map figured out. Basically, however you study, you have some things in your head that you know that, yeah, this is what I have in my head, this is what I need to revise, and I will be set for exam. Mostly that is what people do. Not everyone sits and jot down notes or just memorizes the entire the entire textbook. Now, three things that I have seen in the last 3 years: that one, uh, the exams are unpredictable, and it's not unpredictable in the sense of the happy unpredictable. It is made in the sense where the UPSC commission or whatever it is screwing with your head. So even if you've learned everything, even if you've done everything, even if you've revised everything, there are still around 10 to 15 questions which you wouldn't be able to attempt. So minus that. Already from that, when you're minusing 10 questions, that's around 20 marks. So you're not giving a paper of 200 marks, you're giving a paper of 180 marks. Now 180 marks ka 50% is 90. So they expect you to get at least 50%. Okay, this is from the GS1 paper. Ab GS1 paper, if you are getting 90 and still you don't get considered, even in 50%, you don't get considered, the morale of the student goes down, right? The next exam, it's gonna be even more difficult for this person. 35 used to be the passing. This is what our Indians have been taught, right? 35 is passing, that's how much you need. That is still the passing for a lot of other categories which are the SC and the STs, that is what I mean. So for general category, you're screwed. General category, two advices: if you have a backup plan, do it. If you don't have a backup plan, don't do it. Second, if you don't have a financial problem, do it. If you have financial problem, do not give your time to this exam. The respect that you should be getting after passing the exam, after getting that position, I don't think so it's worth it at this point, because now with every field becoming corrupt and UPSC being questioned again and again on their on their question papers, on their answer sheets, on their work, on their workings, and the government, it isn't anymore the job that everyone thought of to be of a very high respect. IAS officers previously were like seen as superheroes, and now it's more of in a show off category of, see, I managed to pass this exam, I managed to get into this position, so now you people have to follow me. This is what I'm seeing. A lot of IAS officers are reaching their position by either doing fraud, by going to that disability wala point, or by going to this point where they have some kind of special circumstances. Now I am disabled. My disability does not make any effect on my studying, so I went on general category for both my exams and even the third exam. So I was operated, and my operation did not take for my ear, so now I have a hearing issue. But I still did not fill the form under disability category, I still did it under general category. What I noticed is that other people said that you should have done it with disability, because you see so many people are passing under that. That's like cheating the system. You want to make a change in the system, but to make that position, to reach to that point where you can make a change, you need to cheat. So why would one want to get into a position after cheating? If that's how these exams are gonna go for future generations as well, I don't know what the future holds, with especially people at such high ranking positions with such responsibilities to be reaching to such places by doing fraud or by doing some kind of jugad. In Indian words, jugad. A person who is actually capable of but does not have the opportunity to do it, a person who's actually interested in making a change but they don't belong to any category. These people are left behind, not because they are stupid. See, everyone is giving the exams, everyone has a different way of dealing with things. So now I heard one thing that someone said, that UPSC exam and UPSC answers are thought by UPSC ka commission and their people, and no one else can come with that. So if you are trying to train everyone according to your thinking and mentality, isn't that a sheep or a herd mentality? Then how will I make a difference? How will a single person make a difference? How will one new officer make a difference if the system is just going to follow the same kind of track which it is going to be, which it has been following since the last how many ever years? Now, all these being said, I have seen people, so my professors and my teachers, and I would like to say thank you to everyone who has taught me. They are people who have given exams like 7-8 times. They are 100 times more smarter than me, because they've read the same thing about 70 times more than me. So if repetition is the answer to this exam, so I think these people are the best people, because for them the book is like in their head. But the position demands something else. The position demands a person to be thinking on its feet and not just on paper. And yet the exams are still the way that it is. I am rambling about this, but after giving it 3 years, what I come to the conclusion is, and I'm sorry to say this, if you are planning to give UPSC exams, be ready to waste your year. Be ready to waste your year, because from a pool of imagine 1,000, if you are lucky, you will be among the few people who make it up to 80s in their first exam. And the people who pass in their first exams, that's like rare. Actually rare, that is very rare. So every exam that I've been to, I have talked to the people who are around me, and they all are like second try, third try, and the first try people. There is a huge difference in attitude between the people who have given their exams once, they are given the exams twice, and the people who are giving it third or fourth or fifth time. The attitude difference is so much. The first year people are scared. They are mind-numbingly scared to even give the exams, and that is the reason why most of the people don't make it to the exam. They are so scared to give the exams. They think of this exam as life and death, and many people many people do actually kill themselves after getting failed in an exam. So this is actually a life and death kind of a situation for some. So imagine a person standing in front of you. This is the first year student. His attitude and his confidence is like on level 0, and the person who's sitting for the 5th time, his attitude and his confidence is at the level 50. How would they match? And the papers that they see are literally the same, right? You have different sets, right? A, B, C, D, whatever that is. But apart from that, you get questions which are similar. Apart from that, you get like the ballpark is the same. The question answers, even though they are different, the finish line is the same for everyone. So if one set is easy and you manage to get that set, you manage to pass the exam. But if one set is difficult and you manage to get that set, but you've prepared your entire year, you still don't clear it. Has UPSC become a waste of time? it is a very big question, and with the way that it is going, and with the way they are getting new changes, I'm sorry to say, but yes, it is. It's becoming more and more evident that, and I'm not just speculating, it's a lot of research gone into this, that there is some kind of backdoor entry here now, even in this exams, even though it was never before. The sequencings that we found in the the answer keys, or the answers that were released, the names basically, the 331 series. And so, have how many of you all have actually counted how many people have passed in the exam? It's about 14,106 people that have passed, 16 people that have passed the exams. So that from that entire sheet, if you look at it, how many people, and I'm not making this like a religious debate, but how many people are actually from the religion that you belong to, or from the society that you belong to, or from the caste that you belong to? You find hardly few people. What you are finding the most is the people who are already in those categories, because they know that in categories they have to score less and they still get selected. Now, I, as a human, I thought of three things when I gave this exam. One, I'm just doing it for the knowledge. Two, I'm doing it to understand the government and the constitution and how it works. And third, if I do make it, I want to do it so that I can make positive changes. What I am seeing right now in our country, I'm not really happy about it. So I wanted to make a few changes of my own, and especially not in a way where people become radical or something, but in a way where you can enforce a positive kind of environment. There's a lot of hate going on between a lot of sections, being it religious, being it color, being it the sex of a person. So there's a lot of things that is going on. But in India, this has been going on for the last 300 to 400 years, and it actually makes you laugh knowing that this is something that the Britishers did to us, and this is what now other people are also doing to us. We know that this is what has been done to us, and yet we allow it to happen to us. We are being divided and we are being ruled. That is with every sector, every sector. I'm not against caste system, or I'm not against any kind of quota system. It's fine if you give certain people quotas. That's not the problem. The problem here is this, that where is the line where the general category and the quota people meet? Because for them it's on step 10, their destination is on step 10, but for general category their destination is after step 100. That doesn't seem fair. That does not seem fair at all. And for someone who has been a part of the society, and been a part of social work, and been a part of a lot of different fields, so I have hopped from one career to another in a lot of different fields, and I have seen a lot of different people working, and I've seen a lot of other the officials working, where I just look at them and I be like, they are sitting in such high positions, and yet instead of making any positive changes, they are the ones who are doing the negative work. So what is actually happening in India? People who are worth it, they are not getting a chance. People who are not worth it, but because they have quota or because they have some kind of backdoor entrance, they are getting the chance. That has become the true reality of everything now. Job, studies. So what do? You ask questions, and when you ask question, what happens? The people who are sitting up there either give you an answer or try to lower your voice, try to push you down. I am ready for this video to be taken off, like giving it a flag or something like that. That's okay. I know that's gonna happen. But where is the line? My question still stands there. Where is the line? Where is the line for general people? Like, are we still in that phase where we have to consider some sects of people need more than others? I think in India, everyone needs more. You say that the cream population is not allowed to use the disability card or the quota services, but they do. And we've seen that in the last exam. We've seen people, I can't name names, but we've seen people actually score and get positions. They have their fathers and their grandfathers and everyone in the position already. So for them, it becomes easier. It's not that they have a backing, so it becomes easier. It's easier for them because they already know how the system works. They already know the loopholes of the system. For a person who's coming from a gaon or a person who's coming from a city, now Delhi, everyone knows about UPSC, right? But in Mumbai, in comparison, it goes down to 50%. Like, even student wise, it goes down to 50%. But you go to any gaon and you see it, there is like 30 or 40 people who are giving the exams from that entire village, and then one person passes from that. That one person becomes God. Why? Because he's the only person who's managed to give that exam and get passed from the entire village. Now take that in entire Mumbai. Now take that in entire India. Those people are getting godlike complexes because they've managed to pass an exam which others did not manage to pass. These exams were supposed to be like an entrance gateway to people who are mature enough, who are knowledgeable enough, who are willing to make positive changes, who are ready to do some good to the society. But what happens? People who have settings, they get in. People who have backings, they get in. People who have studied, I'm not saying that people have not studied, because even though you have backing, you need to study for this exam. But imagine you studying, and then imagine another person whose father is already an IAS officer. So their morale and their understanding about things and their inner workings is completely different from yours. So what is happening? What is gonna happen? I am 100% sure the person whose father is already in the service will have much more knowledge about things, much more sense about things. Isn't that privilege? Isn't that privilege? So there's literally, when UPSC claims that it does not give privileges to anyone, that's really not what is happening. There are a lot of people who are a byproduct of those privileges. Example being the previous exams, a few memes that have been created, and I'm pretty sure everyone knows what I'm talking about. So I could have taken a disability card and I could have easily passed in the exam by using that disability. Yes. Did I do it? No. Did I actually not think about it? I did think about it. Did I want to cheat the system? No. So the question lies here. Are we willing to sacrifice everything for this exam and the position that it gives you? Or your own self-respect is more important? Or being true is more important? I have no idea what I'm going to do next. I've already put 3 years into this. Did not even think that I'll be putting 3 years into this. As I begin in 23. I thought it's the first time that I'm giving my exams and that's gonna be it. I did not see myself 3 years down the line in a rabbit hole making this video. Never did I think of it. It broke my heart when the results came out, because this time, with the answers key of all the institutes and all the coaching classes, I managed to get, my paper was really nice. I managed to get some nice marks, but I knew for a fact that I'm not gonna clear. There was an inner thing that kept telling me that you're not gonna clear. It's not because of you. It's not because you did not work hard, but you're not gonna clear. And that's what happened. And this was my last attempt. I'm 32 and I don't have any attempts left. Another UPSC is also changing the limit for giving the exams and age. So this is my last goodbye to UPSC, to all my teachers and my other fellow people who helped me study, and people who boosted my morale during this entire time, my cousins. A few people I will name. Amit sir, who was in study IQ, he's helped a lot. His story is quite fascinating for me. 7 years, and then like that person has brains, and if he can't pass, what are we doing? And then we talk about a few other people that have already given the exams and those have passed, and my another sir in the same institute, I'm not gonna name his name, but he's a racist. I'm not even bleeping out the word. He's a racist. Online, on a class where about 100 to 200 people are with him, he's being biased towards religion, he's being biased towards a particular sect of a person, and he's being biased towards a particular category. And he works in the government, by the way. So yeah, that shakes your head a little, that if this is the kind of people that are working, do you really have a chance in such institutes? And he kept boasting off about it, that I work for this and this government institute or whatever. And you have such a small mentality. Sad to see that. Anyways, I think this will give enough closure to people who have already given the exams and who are trying to give the exams. So if, again, I would reiterate, if you're giving the exam with the thought that you have a backup plan and this is not the end of life, and this is something that you can put your time and effort into and not regret later on, go for it. But if you think that if you put too much pressure onto this exam and you might not be able to survive the results, do not get into it. It is a race that never ends. It is something that you get into. It's a frenzy. To be like to compare it with a drug is a problem, but it's a frenzy. You want to pass the exam, you want to give the exam, and you don't pass, and then you again sit and study about it, and then you again don't pass, and it does something to your brain. So be careful. Anyone who's planning to give the exams, keep it in your mind, you need to have a backup plan. I don't. So for me now, it's gonna be a difficult few weeks or months. Let's see what it's gonna be like. With so many degrees in your hand and with such knowledge in your hand, and you not being able to make a change is actually very, very pitiful for yourself. So you don't feel bad for anyone else but yourself at this point. Anyways, that's how it is with this exam. So best of luck for people who are planning to give the exams. And I think this is the truth as an ex-aspirant. I can only give you this. All right, take care. Bye.